SNK's Neo Geo Pocket Color has always been one of my favorite handhelds. In contrast to almost all the other Game Boy competitors of that era, the NGPC is small and cute. It's got great controls and it's got 40 hours of battery life. It's also got handheld ports of a bunch of SNK's greatest games, from Metal Slug to King of Fighters.
It's here! The revolutionary Neo Geo Pocket Color! With 16-bit power, linked to the Sega Dreamcast, revolving joystick.
I've always wanted to do some kind of video about it, and now I finally have an excuse. The release of the first flash cart for the system, the Neo Geo Pocket SD. Let's take a look at it now. My Neo Geo Pocket Color is a new Neo Geo Pocket Color, and I picked it up shortly after that was released in Japan. These are just slightly thinner than the originals, and obviously came in these funky colors that were never available in the United States. As you can see, I do take care of my stuff. I actually used this quite a bit when I first got it, and you'll probably see the screen's a little scratched up. Otherwise, it's in pretty good condition. But I did use it a lot on my commutes. I loved this system. And consequently, I wanted to see if there was some more convenient way that I could keep playing games on it. I don't like emulating handhelds on a phone. I know a lot of people always suggest that whenever I make videos about any kind of handheld system. But just look at these controls. The Neo Geo Pocket Color has probably the most buttery control stick of any handheld you're ever going to find anywhere. I love it. The buttons are nice and snappy. So I did want to find a way to keep playing this without having to carry a bunch of games around with me. That's one thing that phones have kind of spoiled me on. So what do? You pick up one of these. This is the Neo Geo Pocket Color SD, and it is a multi-cart. A lot of systems have these now. I was extremely happy when I saw this announced for the Neo Geo Pocket Color because it's kind of a forgotten little system. Not forgotten, but it was never quite as popular as, you know, the Game Boy or a lot of the home systems. It's kind of one of those also ran handhelds that doesn't usually get a lot of love, but this is now available. I got mine directly from retrohq.co.uk, and I get nothing if you go and buy one of these after seeing this video, so don't think I'm shilling these, although I will put a link to some eBay auctions or an eBay search for Neo Geo Pocket Colors if you want one, and that I will get some commission for. So I make no apologies for that. This is one way that I actually can afford all this stuff that I put in all these videos. But this is the Neo Geo Pocket SD, and as you see, it comes with some as you can see, it comes with some nice instructions here, color instructions, interestingly, and tells you how this thing works, which I'm going to go through with you right now. Now, I've already preloaded an 8 gig SD card. This thing takes up to 32 gig SD cards, but you really don't need one that big for the Neo Geo Pocket Color. It just doesn't have quite that many games. Am I putting this in correctly? Make sure you put it in the right way. I actually was, but it's not spring-loaded. You just kind of jam it in there, and it's ready to go. At this point, you can, as long as the card is FAT formatted, it's going to be recognized. I have a bunch of other junk on this card. This is actually the card that came with my dash cam, so all that stuff is still on there, but the cartridge doesn't care. Just put it in there like any old Neo Geo Color cartridge. Fire up the system. This system is not backlit, and that can be a little difficult to get used to again in this day and age, but it is a pretty good screen. You just have to kind of get it at the right angle here. So I've already installed 4 games here. What you need to do is first go over to the SD card tab, navigate to where you actually have the games. Let me just zoom this in a little bit for you. And you see, here's my list of games that I have. You actually have to install these to the flash before you can play them. You can't play them directly off the SD card. I'm fine with that. It takes a little bit of time, especially on the longer games, but once you do it, it's going to be available on the flash and you can play it from there. It'll do, I'm not sure if I said this, it'll do up to 15 megabytes on the flash memory itself. That may not sound like a lot, but these games are not very big. As you can see out here on the side, it's actually showing the size of each game, and they range in size from 512K up to about 4 megabytes. So the biggest ones are 4 megabytes, and you can still fit, 5, 6, 7 games on there at one time. And you can just keep the SD card in there and just flash new ones whenever you want. Now going back to our list here, you can see that Cool Cool Jam is now installed. I am not going to play it because it's all in Japanese, and I just don't feel like wading through a bunch of Japanese menus right now, but let's just try something that I know I can play. So Metal Slug, and this is how it boots up. It's going to actually reboot the system, and we'll get right into the game. Let's play as the girl. I do love this game. Now you may wonder if you can save your game, and that's one reason why I was playing Metal Slug, because it does support saving. So just to show you that, I've turned off the system, turning it back on now, and we're going to get back to the list here of games. I'm going to select Metal Slug. It's rebooting. And here you see I can continue. So yes, it does support saving. And one of the really cool things it can do is actually save your game, and then you can delete it off the flash and then bring it back later if you want to. So it's really, the 15 megabyte limit isn't that big of a deal, I don't think. Now just to test that out, I actually did delete Metal Slug from my flash and then reflashed it from the save just to make sure that it's still going to work. So let's check it out. And there you see my continues. So, yep. Now one thing about flash carts is that they are rarely cheap, and this one's no exception. I think I paid about $100 for this thing. These things are really intended for really hardcore fans, and or just people with a lot of disposable income, I guess. But if you're someone like me who just really enjoys playing on original hardware, and you want to do that without carrying a bunch of cartridges around, you just want this one thing, it's really convenient, and I do really recommend this. It works really well, and the limitations that it has, which is just the 15 megabyte flash memory, I think that's kind of easy to get around and work with. So Yeah, I do recommend this thing. Go check it out, retrohq.co.uk. And definitely get yourself a Neo Geo Pocket Color if you don't have one as well. I will put a link down in the description. If you want to click that, help me out a little bit. These are great little handhelds and still one of my favorites of all time. But that's about it right now. Just a short little video. I just wanted to show you guys this and get it right side up there. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Now, just to test that out, oh, fucking baseball stars, damn it.